Hello everyone, at 1995 here in the video game fanfic plot with a new chapter for you all. In Attack on Prime, remember I do not own the Transformers Prime series or the Attack on Titan, and I give full credit to its author Milishade on Wattpad and fanfiction.net. Now onto the story. Coup D'eat Part 1. Ren looked at the old castle the Corps used to stay in. So why are we staying in here? The government already knew where we were staying before the expedition a month ago, so they already looked here for you and Optimus, Hanji explained. They wouldn't think to double check. I don't know, Ren admitted. We'll move out in a day or so once we find a better place, Hanji reassured. Just help me with this stuff. Ren grabbed a bag of supplies from the horse and was about to walk into the castle, but stopped when he noticed Optimus and Megatron in their hollow form. Ren felt anger rise in him as he saw the former Decepticon carrying Bertholdt like a sack of flour. He shouldn't be allowed free will. He shouldn't be allowed free will. Ren yelped as he felt someone grab his ear and pull him behind the horse's bin. He looked up to see him face to face with Levi. Glaring at Buckethead is not going to make anything better, Levi declared. You might even make the situation worse if you try to provoke him. He doesn't deserve to live, Ren hissed, earning a smack in the head. We don't know both sides of the story, Levi explained. I don't, so I'm being careful and will only retaliate if Buckethead does decide to attack humanity. Levi noticed Ren was still angry. This is about something else. It's not fair, Ren said. Optimus has been fighting for others for so long and everyone he cares about thinks he's dead. Megatron destroyed worlds and he gets to walk away without any punishment? Levi sighed. You're right. It's not fair, it never was. But we can't do anything to change their past. The issues that they have is between them. Let them hash it out on their own and come to a compromise. This isn't our place, just keep that in mind. Ren looked back at the two before sighing. If he does attack, I will kill him. Hanji tapped her foot as Optimus and Megatron came out of Bertholdt's holding cell. He is detained, Optimus informed and passed her the key. So now what do we do? Hanji asked. We can't get to Erwin cause we'll all get caught. Government wants us dead, and you, Megs, are just an entire different category. What did you just call me? Megatron hissed as Optimus put a hand in front of him. Optimus gave Hanji a rather irritated look while she just shrugged. You will need supplies soon enough, Optimus stated, meaning you may have to go into Trost. True, but we can't risk exposing ourselves too suddenly, and we shouldn't bring Ren or Historia, Hanji retorted. Maybe we can send Megatron again. I am not doing your dirty work again, Megatron declared. Well, we can't send Prime because he's a giant red and blue caravan that we have no idea how to hide, Hanji retorted. You can fly beyond this world and still have a hollow form intact. We'll discuss that later, Optimus said. What about Ren and Historia? Someone is after them and we cannot leave them alone. Maybe we don't have to, Hanji said. I have an idea, but we're going to need Armin and Jean. Pixis knocked on the door to Erwin's room and noticed that he was trying to write with his left hand. Erwin, you shouldn't strain yourself, Pixis commented. I have to learn how to do activities with my left hand, Erwin commented. I thought writing would be a good start. Pixis took the pen from Erwin's hand and placed it down on the table. You need to rest. Erwin remained silent and didn't move from his seat. Pixis was about to put a hand on his shoulder, but Erwin grabbed it. I'll be fine, Erwin reassured. I've just always wondered about Optimus' backstory. Why wonder about that? Pixis asked. I talked with Optimus briefly after the trial, Erwin explained. He said that there were more like him, but that they were returning to his home. Then Hanji got a hold of his history, and it made me wonder even more. If Optimus was this powerful Titan, are there more that are stronger than he is? His enemy, Megatron, was he stronger than him? What was he like? Did Optimus fear him? Did Megatron fear death? Why was Megatron more concerned about Optimus when he threatened me? Erwin, you shouldn't dwell on that, Pixis said. Worrying about it is going to make it worse for you. Erwin sighed. I can't stop. Not when humanity is on the line. Ren crossed his arms in irritation while Historia looked at Levi and the rest of the scouts were packing to go into town. Why do we have to stay here? Ren demanded. Stop being a little shit-face about it, Levi ordered. We just need to go into town to get some supplies. Someone might be there to kidnap the both of you, but we have to make sure. What about Hanshi? Historia asked. She went to find another place that we could hide out at, Levi answered, just to cover up all of our ends. What about Optimus and Megatron? Ren asked. They went ahead, Levi answered. Prime said he was going to be in Tross to look for any suspicious activity. Not sure if bringing Buckethead to a populated area again was such a good idea, but we'll see what happens. Ren scowled at the thought while Historia nodded her head. All right, everyone, let's go, Levi called out. The scouts grabbed their horses as they rode towards the Tross district. So what do you want to do? Historia asked. Levi was tempted to put his hood on, but decided against it, knowing that would make him look suspicious. He just had to be careful of who saw him. He was the face of the Survey Corps, so if someone did recognize him, it would mean big trouble. Levi looked around, trying to find the Prime's holoform. Damn it! Where could he be? The Titan was red and blue. He should not be hard to find. Levi grunted as someone bumped into him. He looked up to see Prime's familiar human face and noticed that he was wearing a gray jacket instead of his familiar red one. Where's Buckethead? Levi asked. He is not far behind, Optimus answered. We managed to find suspicious activity. Levi sighed. Why exactly did you bring him here? Why didn't you just leave him back at the castle? I cannot, Optimus answered. I cannot trust him to be left alone. Wouldn't bringing him here cause a bit of mass hysteria? Levi asked. What if he pulls off something that gets us killed? If I leave him with Ren, then we will all be exposed, Optimus whispered. Levi raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Ren is angry with me that I never spoke about Megatron's existence with him, Optimus explained. He's angry with me and he's angry at Megatron. Megatron does have tendencies of losing his composure. If they both encounter each other and Ren's say the wrong thing, I fear that he may end up dead. Levi sighed. I just hope you know what you're doing. Mikasa watched the sight around her. Titans used to flood the streets here, her comrades died here. Now it looks like a ghost town. The Ackerman felt a shadow loom over her as she looked up to see a male with multiple scars on his face walking side by side with her. He noticed she was looking at him, but simply didn't say anything. Who are you? Mikasa demanded, hand ready to pull the knife in her pocket. The other two managed to figure out who I am, he answered. I figured you might do the same. Mikasa recognized the voice and let go of the knife at her side. You're Megatron? Correct, Megatron merely said. Mikasa looked at the people in the streets before looking back at the warlord. So do you naturally hate humans? Megatron looked down at her. A rather blunt statement, but yes. Humans are weak nuisances. My opinion on them hasn't changed in the past month that I've been alone. I don't blame you, Mikasa admitted. As a species, we're rather pitiful and cruel against each other. Preying on the weak to survive. Sometimes I wonder how Optimus is able to see the good in us if he's willing to sacrifice his time here. Megatron was rather surprised by her response. I didn't expect that kind of response. I've experienced it firsthand, Mikasa explained. This world is cruel, but it is beautiful. An odd thing to say, Megatron admitted. You don't really think that way, Mikasa assumed. See the world through my optics and you may understand, Megatron stated. Mikasa looked at Optimus' holoform and back at Megatron. So then do you hate Optimus? It's complicated, Megatron merely answered, but regarding what you said about your own kind. Would you really be willing to kill them, even if they are not your designated enemy? I have to, Mikasa declared. I have people I need to protect, and I don't have time for mercy. What if your comrade turned out to be a traitor? Megatron asked. Dead men tell no tales, Mikasa answered. Megatron didn't know what to say to the human. He was rather surprised by her ideology and what she says that she is willing to do. He hasn't seen her in combat yet, but it would be interesting to see what she was capable of. What is your name? Megatron asked. Mikasa was confused but answered anyway. Mikasa. Mikasa Ackerman. Well then, it will be interesting to see what you are capable of, Ackerman, Megatron stated. Megatron noticed that some of the citizens surrounding them and bombarding Levi with questions and demanding why they haven't helped. Optimus tried to calm them down, but they weren't having it. The former Khan heard a faint noise and turned to see a caravan coming straight for them. Watch out! Megatron yelled before grabbing Mikasa and pulling her out of the way. Levi kicked one of the men out of the way while Optimus pulled another one. Everyone else managed to jump out of the way, but not before two men on the caravan grabbed Armin and Jean. Ah shit! They got Ren and Krista. Sasha shouted. Ackerman, rifle! Megatron shouted. Mikasa quickly took the rifle and tossed it to Megatron. Megatron fired and shot off the wheel of the cart. The cart skidded out of control and crashed into one of the fruit carts. Let's go! Optimus ordered as he ran to grab Armin and Jean. Hey, what the? The citizens of the town were startled as the Survey Corps disappeared from their sights. Ren sat on the couch while Historia rested her head on the table. He rested his hands under his chin as he thought about his friends. They were all contributing to helping out overthrow the government. And all he and Historia were doing were sitting on their asses doing nothing. He should be doing something. He had the powers of a Titan. He should be finding a way to help. Even that bastard Megatron was contributing into helping humanity, but he knew it wouldn't last. He was probably blackmailing Optimus or something, and he would probably destroy humanity when it suited him. Someone who was willing to kill millions wouldn't care for a bunch of humans. But what about Berthold? He was a Titan shifter. He was responsible for the death of his mother. For taking away his home. His friends. Everyone he cared about. So did he not care about him and his friends? For the past 3 years they spent together, did he and Reiner only play them? Was it all a lie? Ren put his hands on his knees. He needed to find out from Berthold. The teen stood up and walked out of the room and walked down to the basement. He needed to find out from him personally. So why didn't you grab one of the merchant? Levi asked Optimus as the Corps decided to hide on the rooftops. Getting Armin and Jean to safety is my top concern, Optimus explained. However, without the resources or Armin and Jean, they would have no choice but to return to their base. Hopefully we're tailing team to the right place, Levi said. Captain, we found something. Sasha called out. Levi and Optimus walked over to Sasha as she pointed to the 3 men that attacked them earlier today. They watched as they ran inside of an abandoned warehouse. All right, let's move, Levi instructed. Wait, Optimus began as he placed his hand in front of Levi. Megatron and I will go. You two can't, Levi declared. What if you get exposed? And what if you get killed? Optimus retorted. Your numbers are already small as it is ever since Walrose. I cannot allow you to sacrifice more of your comrades. You gonna be okay in there? Sasha asked. There's probably more than 3 guys. We will be fine, Optimus reassured as he stood up and linked Megatron, we must move. Megatron got the message before jumping onto the roof of the warehouse with Optimus following behind. Optimus saw an open window before grabbing the edge of the roof and flipping inside. So do they feel pain in that form? Sasha asked as Megatron followed Optimus. How the fuck am I supposed to know? Levi retorted. Ren waited outside of the basement door before taking a deep breath. He couldn't let his anger get to the better of him. He had to breathe, he needed to calm down. He needed to do this. Ren opened the door to the side of Berthold on a bed behind bars. His back faced him as he was curled in on himself. Ren noticed the chains hanging from the wall connected to his legs and hands. So have to come to torture me once more, demons? Bertholdt spoke. Says the one who wiped out 20% of humanity's population, Ren retorted. Bertholdt shifted to look at Ren. I didn't expect to see you here. If it were on my terms, you wouldn't even be here, Ren declared. Bertholdt snorted. 'Cause you were doing such a good job helping out humanity defeat the Titans. Ren felt the anger boil in him, but he had to push it down. Why are you here? Bertholdt asked. I want answers, Ren answered. I'm not telling you anything about the Titans, Bertholdt assumed. I want to know why you did it, Ren corrected. Why did you decide to attack humanity? Megatron and Optimus hid behind grates on opposite ends of the warehouse as they saw the head merchant walk in with 5 others. The merchant looked around, but noticed that something was missing. Where are Ren and Historia? He demanded. We couldn't get them, Reeves. One of the men from earlier confessed. What? Reeves exclaimed. The Survey Corps stopped us. Another one explained, they probably know we're onto them and left the city. Damn it, this wasn't supposed to happen. Reeves yelled, which one of them stopped you? Reeves heard loud grunting followed by bodies hitting the floor. He turned to see Optimus and Megatron standing above 3 of his men with their rifles aimed at them. So who wants to die first? Megatron asked. Don't just stand there. Attack! Reeves yelled. The remaining 5 of the merchants charged, but the 2 Titans split off. Optimus stripped one of the merchants and kicked another one in the face while Megatron flat out shot one of them in the leg. Megatron saw the man writhe in pain before looking over to see Reeves trying to run. Megatron hopped onto one of the crates while Optimus broke one of the other men's arm. The ex-con bolted and tackled Reeves before pinning him to the ground. Megatron grabbed the pistol in Reeves' side and pointed it at his head. I have the leader. Megatron told Optimus. Optimus elbowed the last of the merchants in the face before dusting himself off. The Prime noticed one more merchant creeping up behind Megatron. He bolted towards the nearest rifle and was ready to fire, but an arrow flew past Megatron and pierced the man in the shoulder. The 2 Titans looked up to see Sasha crouching down on a crate with another arrow ready to fire. You're welcome, tin cans. Sasha shouted. Your assistance is acknowledged, not appreciated, Archer, Megatron stated. Ren growled as Bertholdt chose to ignore him. Answer me. Why? Bertholdt questioned. I'm not obligated to answer anything. Ren kicked the bars. Don't fuck with me. My mother died then. She died right before my eyes, I told you. How the hell do you sleep at night knowing what you did? You didn't even react when I told you. Do you really not feel anything, you monster? Ren's hands gripped the bars. Did those 3 years mean nothing? Was it all a lie? Bertholdt finally turned to look Ren in the eye. You think it was? You think I wanted to kill your mother? You think I wanted to kill people for fun? Who would enjoy that? Well, you were fine considering how well you slept at night. Ren retorted. Damn it, Ren. I didn't choose this. Bertholdt yelled as he stepped forward to what the chains would allow. Bertholdt gasped as he coughed up blood. Ren took a step back as Bertholdt covered his mouth, but it was useless as blood still stained the floor. Ren gasped as the scars on his hand spread to his elbow. What the hell? Ren breathed. Ren. Hanji shouted as she and Historia ran into the room. Oh shit. Get away from him. What's going on with him? Ren demanded. I'll explain later. Just come on. Hanji yelled as she pulled Ren out of the room and shut the door. Connie and Sasha finished tying up the last merchant before Levi and Mikasa walked up to Reeves. Optimus leaned against one of the crates with Megatron sitting next to him. These forms are going to dissipate soon, Megatron reminded. If we leave now, the merchants will become suspicious, Optimus retorted. We should still be careful about it, Megatron stated. Optimus crossed his arms in response. Megatron looked to the side and noticed one of the crates had a familiar blue glow to it. The ex-con stood up and walked over to the crate. Please be gentle with me, sir, Reeves begged before looking up at Mikasa. I remember you, Mikasa spoke, You were blocking the exit of Trost with the crate. They called him boss. Reeves scowled in response. Looks like we got our man, Levi declared, but I'm not enjoying staying in here. Why don't we take this somewhere more open? Reeves was about to respond, but a shot rang out of the building. Armand gasped as one of the merchant's head was blown off and on the floor, dripping with blood. Everyone turned to see Megatron glaring at Reeves before dropping the rifle that he picked up. The hell's wrong with him? Jean demanded. Megatron, that was uncalled for, Optimus hissed as he grabbed Megatron by the collar. Was it really? Megatron questioned before kicking a hole the crate behind him. Solid energon spilled out from the crate before toppling down on the ground. Optimus looked down in horror and let go of Megatron's collar. Hey, that's doesn't belong to you, Megatron cut off as he stepped on and crushed a piece of energon. Reeves gulped as Megatron walked forward. Look, sir. Shut up, Megatron ordered, causing Reeves' mouth to snap shut. I know you have no knowledge of what this is and what it can do, but I bet that your buyer does. So tell me what your buyer's name is. I'm not obligated to, Reeves grunted as Megatron grabbed him by the collar and lifted him in the air. Do not take me for a fool and stop avoiding the question. Megatron yelled. Optimus aimed the rifle at the back of Megatron's head. Enough. Do not make the situation worse than it already is. Megatron glanced back at Optimus. Answer the question before I kill you. Who is your buyer? Optimus pulled down the hammer and placed his finger on the trigger. Do not make me shoot you. You should listen to your friend, Reeves advised. I bet you don't want to die like this. Living is harder, Megatron declared, and I can't torture to the point where you'll be begging for death. You wouldn't, Reeves said. Megatron gave Reeves a devilish grin. Try me. Reeves felt a chill go up his spine before looking back at the Prime. Damn it. The buyer is Rod Rice. Megatron dropped Reeves on the ground while Optimus lowered the rifle. The ex-con looked back at his former enemy. You have a lead now. You're welcome. Megatron walked past Optimus and made his way towards the door while the new recruits let out a sigh of relief. Ren and Historia raised their heads as Hanji walked into the room they were waiting in earlier. Hanji sighed as she grabbed a chair and sat down. Damn it, Ren. What were you thinking? I wanted an answer. Ren answered. I wanted to know why he did what he did. You haven't been able to get an answer out of him. Interrogation takes time, damn it. Hanji yelled. Squad leader, what happened to Berthold? Historia asked. He's been infected by Dark Energon, Hanji answered. Ren was rather surprised while Historia was confused. Dark Energon? Historia questioned, what is that? Probably the deadliest thing that can kill a Cybertronian, Hanji answered. But there's no Dark Energon here, Ren retorted. How would Berthold be infected by it? Remember when Optimus told you that Megatron infused his body with it, and that was the same substance that brought him back to life? Dark Energon never left Megatron's system, Hanji explained. The god of destruction may have been extracted from his body, but the thing that is supposed to kill him is actually keeping him alive. Dramatic irony at its finest. But the god of destruction's been defeated, Historia retorted. True, but Optimus doesn't want to take any risks, Hanji explained, so if you don't want to die a slow death, stay away from Berthold. But what about Berthold? Ren asked, isn't there a way to stop the thing from infecting him? Unless there's a way to liquefy Energon here, then we have no choice but to interrogate him until he dies, Hanji answered, apparently cutting off the infect body part doesn't work. It just continues to spread and for some reason regrow. How much time is that? Ren demanded. My guess, until the infection from his hand reaches his heart, Hanji answered. Erwin looked at the paper in his hand stating that he must return to the capital once he has fully recovered. Should he go back? Or should he wait it out and continue to fake his injury? If Megatron was correct, he couldn't carelessly fall back into their trap. The monarchy or whoever was ruling could not last. They were going to kill humanity before they even had a chance to expand and thrive and find out the truth about the Titans. He couldn't let that happen. Humanity was running out of time and options. And if putting his faith in two sentient titans was going to help restore humanity, then so be it. Pixis. Erwin called out, I need to speak with you. Oh, Levi, you're back and ... Who's this? Angie questioned as she looked at Reeves. Our new partner, Levi answered, he's going to help us kidnap someone from the military police's 1st Brigade. Okay, good, Angie smiled. Speaking of the government, I found a new location where we can hide from them that's not too far from here. Good, Levi said. So where's Optimus and Megatron? Angie asked. They hashing things out, Levi answered lightly. What you did back there was completely uncalled for. Optimus hissed as he and Megatron were conversing in their bipedal mode. Uncalled for? Megatron exclaimed, the humans were stealing our energon supply. It was that stupid mech organization all over again. That did not mean you had to kill one of the merchants. They were not even the ones hoarding the energon, it was someone else. Optimus retorted, you could have cost us the mission. And the energon would have been transported to whoever this Rod Rice is. Megatron countered. Levi already convinced Reeves to join the Survey Corps. The military was blackmailing him. If you didn't use a violent solution, there would not be any tension. Optimus proclaimed. Primus' sake, I still cannot believe that you would still choose a peaceful solution. Especially with the humans betraying you at any given time. They've suffered for a century with the fear of being eaten alive. Yet they go behind your back and steal pieces of our culture. Our lives. The mad scientist most likely would have kept her knowledge or history from you. These humans are unreliable. Manipulative. Selfish. Optimus clenched his fist. No one asked you to stay. No one asked you to stay and help the humans. Your presence here has actually made the situation worse. I think the creature you have in custody refutes that statement, Megatron countered. He's dying. Optimus exclaimed, he's dying because of the dark energon in his systems. Not to mention you've been causing conflict within the Survey Corps. Maybe there wouldn't be an issue if you gave me a chance to prove that I can be trusted. Megatron retorted. After years of fighting against each other? You think I will just forgive you and say join us? Optimus exclaimed, I have tried, you were too stubborn to listen. And you're too stubborn to understand that humanity is just a waste of your time, Megatron declared. Optimus took a deep breath and glared at Megatron. Then leave. What? Megatron said. Go. Leave this planet. If you think humanity is such a waste of your time, then go. Optimus yelled before pointing to the sky, you have the power to leave. Travel the galaxy. Go home. I have a mission and I do not have time to listen to your complaints. The two titans stared each other down, but stopped when they heard someone coughing. They looked down to see Angie rubbing the back of her head. So, Angie trailed off, if you two are done bickering like an ex-couple, we have moved to a better location. Fine, Optimus said as he walked past Megatron and towards the castle. Angie looked up at Megatron to see that he was rather uneasy. If you breathe a word about anything that you have heard, I will slaughter you, Megatron declared as he glared at her. Angie laughed nervously. Fair enough. Angie and Levi watched from the cliff afar to see Reeves transporting members of the military brigade to the fake location. They saw the caravan with a few members of the brigade slip and fall into the ravine. They jumped down and used their 3D gear to grab the men from the ravine before climbing back up and making their way back to their new hideout. Bertolt's dying? Armin asked in surprise as they sat in one of the rooms of their new hideout. Yeah, apparently he's been infected by whatever's in Megatron, Ren explained. Angie says by the time it reaches his heart, he'll be dead. Well, that's splendid, Jean groaned, not only that we're considered traitors to humanity. Damn it. I signed up for Titans. Now I don't even know who the real enemy is. Technically you signed up to join the military police, Connie recalled. Shut up. You wanted to do that too, Jean retorted. By the way, what happened out there? Historia asked, I noticed that Optimus and Megatron were angrier. Megatron killed someone and Optimus tried to kill him, my cousin answered casually. Well, he almost destroyed his human form. Not to mention he threatened to kill the one guy who knew about Rod Rice, Gene added. My father? Historia questioned. Yeah, Gene answered, apparently he's been taking Optimus' food supply or something. For what? Ren questioned. We know Energon can be used as a weapon, it's not just sustenance, Armin explained, but Energon is dangerous towards humans, so what could he possibly need it for? The recruits stopped when they heard screaming from down in the basement. Rod placed the Energon within a small cylinder before placing it next to other ones in the crate. He heard the door open, but didn't bother to turn and see who it was. Rice, that bastard merchant didn't come back with Ren, Historia, or that blue stuff, the man said. Rod sighed as he placed his tools on the table. He most likely got caught by the Survey Corps. The military wouldn't touch him because he's the one that provides food for them. So do you want me to kill him and his crew? He asked. Yes, Kenny, Rod answered, we can't risk the Survey Corps gaining the upper hand. Speaking of, did you find anything else about that flying titan? Not much, Kenny sighed, other than the fact that he looks like the devil. Rod hummed in response. Let me know if anything else comes up. Angie took off her glasses and sighed. Nothing's worked. Sense isn't saying anything to us and we're running out of time. What do you think we should do? Levi asked. I don't know, Angie admitted. You wanna ask Optimus and Megatron? Angie, we can't rely on them for everything, Levi retorted. But we need answers, Angie retorted, and probably know the best methods of torture possible. They hate each other, they can't even stay in the same room without causing any trouble, Levi stated. Maybe giving them an objective goals helps divert them from their own personal issues, Angie proclaimed. It happened when they fought Berthold and Reiner. You really want to test that? Levi questioned. We have to, Angie declared. Sans opened his eyes as the door opened to Optimus and Megatron walking into the room. Who are you? Sans demanded. Your tormentors, Megatron answered as he closed the door. I will not repeat this again, so listen carefully, Optimus began. I do not want to make this harder on you than it has to be. We will provide you with a chance to tell us the information that we require peacefully. And if I don't? Sans asked. You'll be dead, Megatron answered. Don't ask such a foolish question. You really are going to kill a valuable soldier of the king? Sans tested. Sans grunted as the Prime grabbed his face and forced the man to look at him. If you came to us in chains a week ago, I may have considered sparing your life. But I have run out of mercy and your government has made me lose my patience. Sans was rather confused by the man's response, but also suspicious because his voice sounded familiar. Optimus let go of the man's face and looked him dead in the eye. Now, why is the Rice family aware of the Titans in the wall and not thinking? Why is both Ren and Historia valuable to Rice? Sans didn't answer. He was not going to say anything. He wasn't going to betray the king. Do not make this worse than it needs to be, Optimus advised. If Levi and Angie sent two strangers to coax information out of me, then they must be really desperate, Sans said. Optimus sighed at his response. Megatron. Sans wasn't able to react as he felt something wrap around his throat and pull him back against the chair. He began choking and managed to raise his gaze to see Megatron holding the rope around his neck. The human body can last on average 5 minutes without oxygen, Optimus explained, maybe less for you since you've experienced blood loss. Not to mention you humans can experience processor damage without your precious air, Megatron added, so you better start talking if you want to serve your precious king. Sans kept on trying to breathe as the rope around his neck became tighter. He couldn't use his hands, he couldn't break free. Sans took a deep breath as Megatron took the rope away from his neck. The man looked in fear as Megatron gave a sinister grin. However, killing you now wouldn't be so fun, Megatron declared, Let's see how long it would take for you to be broken. You know, it's a little bit upsetting that we can only hear this, Hanji admitted. It's amazing how that's your top priority, Levi sighed, seeing the torture. Captain, what are you doing? Ren asked as he walked towards him. I thought you were torturing someone. We were, but we weren't yielding results, so we decided to use Optimus and Megatron, Hanji explained. What? Ren questioned, why would you let that happen? Because Megatron and Optimus are most likely the best chance we have in figuring out why the Rice family is so important, Hanji answered. The door opened and Optimus stepped out before closing it. Miss Zoe, do you have a prototype gun with you? Yeah, it's upstairs, Hanji answered, I'll go get it. Why do you need that? Levi asked, won't that kill him? As long as we do not hit any vital organs and make sure he doesn't bleed out, Optimus answered. Megatron also said he wanted to shoot him in the eye. Ren felt uneasy hearing Optimus talk about torture like this. He didn't like it. Here, Optimus, Hanji said as she came back down and handed him the pistol. Thank you, Optimus said before going back in the torture room. Ren felt extremely uneasy and he clenched his stomach. Levi noticed this and turned to him. Ren, I think you should go stay with your friends. Okay, Ren merely answered as he walked back up the stairs. Later. Sans kept taking huge gasps of air before screaming as he felt a knife logged in his hand. He glared at Optimus as the Prime pulled out the bloodstained blade. It's been a couple of hours since Sans' torture with Optimus and Megatron began. The man was tortured in every way possible, burned, stabbed, cut, shot at, etc. Megatron even managed to shoot off part of his ear. I really wish the humans invented electricity, Megatron groaned as he loaded the gun again. We could probably make a pot or something. What the hell is wrong with you? Sans hissed. I'm bored, Megatron answered. You're boring me, you're not squirming like you're supposed to. Now stay still so I can take out your eye. You monsters! Sans shouted. Oh, do you plan to hurt me with words? Megatron mocked. It's not working. You would have been spared this if you told us the information that we require, Optimus declared. My job is to protect the king. Sans shouted, I will not let it fall into the hands of people like you. Titans are considered adorable next to you. That's more of a compliment for us, Megatron whispered to himself. The Titans have advanced, Optimus began, they took away Wall Maria, and your government has been refraining humanity from advancing and expanding territory. If you continue to remain in the same position that you were at a century ago, then there will be no king to protect. We've been protecting humanity. Sans retorted, civil war hasn't broken out because of us. Anyone who made advancements or got wise about the government were raw. Sans yelled as blood was coming out of his right eye. Optimus glared at Megatron as he pulled the hammer down again. What? He wouldn't shut up, Megatron said. If you're really that violent then just torture me to death already. Sans shouted. No, Optimus said. It wouldn't be much fun and you asking for death just makes me want to keep you alive, Megatron explained before an idea popped into his head. Actually, let's make you completely useless to your precious king. What? Sans stuttered. Megatron walked over and grabbed the knife from Optimus' hand before forcing Sans' head down. I could just destroy the nerve in between your spinal cord at your neck right now. You'd never be able to walk, to move, to do the basic activities that we all seem to take for naught. You would be unable to serve your king, and you would be unable to move for the rest of your pathetic life. No. No. Tell us what we need to know and this will not happen, Optimus demanded. Who is the real royal family? Who is the one that truly rules humanity? I don't know. I don't know. Please don't do this. Sans begged. You have 5 seconds, Megatron declared as he positioned the knife. 4, 3, 2. Connie covered his ears as everyone heard a death-curdling scream from the torture room. God damn it, what the hell are they doing in there? Jean demanded. Ren merely took a deep breath. He felt sick, he felt really sick. Optimus cut the last of his bounds, allowing Megatron to push his body to the floor. Sans tried to move his body, his hands, anything, but it was no use. "You should clean yourself up," Megatron mocked as he threw a cloth at his side. Optimus placed the cloth on the back of Sans' neck to stop the bleeding. "Why do I care?" a muffled voice from outside said. Sans always prattled on about the king. It got really annoying. "Do us a favor and kill him for us." "What?" Sans mumbled weakly in horror. "Ralph? We can't kill him until he backs up what you told us," Levi declared. "Look, I already gave you everything, just make sure that I have a bed in my cell," Ralph said. Megatron began chuckling before he laughed his head off. "It looks like this torture was pointless, wasn't it? You probably wished that we went to your compatriot. Might have saved you an eye and the rest of your body. But it's too late. Your sacrifice meant nothing." Megatron continued laughing while Sans shed a tear out of his good eye. "What did your comrade confess to Captain Levi?" Optimus asked. Sans looked up at Optimus. "The Rice family. Is a true royal family. Erwin read the information that Nifa gave him. So my suspicions were right. Meaning we can replace the king without killing anyone. By placing Historia Rice on the throne as the rightful ruler." Well, that's the ending of that chapter. I do hope you enjoy this video. If you like to see more, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below. Until next time.